Hi, everyone. Welcome to Book Talk at the Clarion. My name is Cynthia Yi, Vice President of Clarion Performing Arts Center. Let's begin with a Chinese New Year greeting that we've put together to celebrate the Year of the Ox. 叫個牛交拗，叫個牛拗. You say it.
The ox is persistent.
We
are stubborn.
with his mighty strength
keeps harm at arm's length.
新年快樂，
一年四季好，
龍馬精神，
恭喜牛年發財，
新春萬福，花開富貴，
出入平安，
牛公牛婆牛蚊仔，新衫新鞋好好睇，
身體健康，
牛年人人行大運，
萬事如意，
天丁發者，
恭喜
發
財。
And that was wishing you a happy Chinese New Year's from the Grant Avenue Follies. Today, we are excited to feature children's book author Kelley Michelucci and her book, Ziggy Finds Her Light. Kelley will be interviewed by our executive director, Clara Hsu.
Hi everyone, I'm Clara Hsu, and I'd like to introduce to all of you Kelley Michelucci. Kelley is an artist and writer. She grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and now lives in the Columbia River Gorge in Washington State. Kelley's artwork has been featured at jewelry shows, San Francisco City Art Gallery, Sonoma Galbraith Preserve, and the Frame Gallery in Hood River, Oregon. Ziggy Finds Her Light is Kelley's first book. Hey, Kelley. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And I'd like to start by quoting our National Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb. Amanda read this poem during the presidential inauguration just not too long ago. And in the poem, she asked the question, where can we find light? And at the end of her poem, she said, for there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. And to me, your story, Ziggy Finds Her Light, and her poem resonate with each other. So I find that very interesting, and also, you know, we will be talking a lot about this light, that it seems to be very, very important for all of us. So, Kelley, did you start writing the story first and then you did the painting, or did you do the painting and then the story came?
Yeah, so I started doing the paintings. I did most of the paintings and then I wrote the story. And then I put it together at the end, but yeah. So
the painting came first, and
yeah.
And is that because you've been painting Ziggy for a long time?
Yeah, I've been painting Ziggy for maybe 8 years. And
8 years?
Yeah, and Cowman at least 10 years.
So
yeah.
these characters are more like part of your family, your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ruby has put on the slides so we can see some of your paintings. Okay, how about if we go to the paintings?
Yeah, so I used a wooden plaque, and I have an example right here so you can see. It's a wooden,
Yes.
So wooden plaque, and there's acrylic paint, and on the edge is gold leaf, and I used a tack to just keep it in place. And I used puff paint glitter and yeah, Swarovski crystals and just really bright colors. But it's all, you can hang it on the wall.
Okay. What's Swarovski crystals?
It's a crystal. These guys right here, they're just really sparkly.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are they expensive to get?
They're kind of expensive. Not crazy, but a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I see that you have Ziggy in, holding her stars in all sort of ways. And so you make these plaque and then the story just came to you?
It's like when I paint and when I do art, it's like I'm journaling and yeah, I started painting and it just came to me. And
So how many paintings did you make before the story came to you?
I would say like at least 2/3 of the story I finished the paintings first.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I wrote it in like 20 minutes really fast, and I wasn't sure about it, but I thought it made sense, and I went back and forth at the end to align like my artwork with the story more. But
It almost seems like that the painting is that process of creating that story in your mind. So when the time came for you to write a story, it was quick.
Yeah,
Because you've already had it worked out.
Yeah,
while you were doing the painting.
Yeah, I think that's what definitely happens. I think I'm telling a story when I'm doing art subconsciously already. Yeah.
So why do you call Ziggy a magical girl?
I called her magical because she owns a star, and in my next book I'm writing, she can fly, so she has these magical powers. But I think she's really just like you and me. She's just an ordinary girl, and when we believe in like certain things, then I think they could just become real, and they feel very real.
And what is so special about Ziggy's star?
It belongs to her. It's her soul. It's her happiness. It's represents love. And
when you have something that you're born with, for example, Ziggy was born with this shining star, does she have to do anything with it, or does she need to cultivate it? Or is it always, going to be she owns it and she won't have to do anything?
Ziggy is born with the star, but she definitely needs to learn how to nurture her star and keep her light shining. So it's something she's constantly working on.
So these qualities needs to be worked on. And so that you can be better and better at it. Not just that once you have it, then you'll have it
right
the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read the book, I noticed that the word love is mentioned many times. Now, right in the first paragraph, there's love and kindness and sensitivity and authenticity and risk-taking. So when you mention these words, are you referring to the star quality of Ziggy?
Yeah.
And this quality all needs to be strengthened. And how do you strengthen these qualities?
I think just by being open to love and risk taking and not closed off, and I think that's being really brave and just being kind and generous, and yeah, just always trying to better the world as much as you can.
I think that for star qualities, all these love, how to love, how to be kind, how to be sensitive, all these things needs to be worked on before we can be better. So I want you to tell us about another character, and this character is Cowman. So tell us about Cowman.
Yeah, so Cowman he's like a spiritual creature. He's very powerful. Um, I guess he's sort of like a god, your best friend, your inner kind self. And he's just meant to be interpreted different by different people, but definitely someone that is like looking after you.
So
Yeah.
when you wrote about Cowman, do you always imagine him to be someone who supports Ziggy, who's always there for her?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I find it also coincident that we are in the year of the ox.
Yeah.
And so when I read about Cowman, I was just wondering if the quality of the ox in the Chinese zodiac, whether that came to your mind or not.
Well, it didn't. I've been making Cowman for like a decade, but it just so happens that it's the year of the ox, and they're very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So they just totally align, and they have a lot of the same characteristics. So
yeah, which is what, being strength, strong.
Yeah.
And hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the and loyal, probably. So I'm keep looking at that red boot here. Why does he have a red boot? Does he always wear the same outfit?
He's always wearing boots. Sometimes they're not red, but he always wears boots most of the time. And sometimes he wears a suit, but I mean, he's a good dresser. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the story, because Ziggy enters a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's in a forest. And what is the meaning of the forest?
So the forest is just Ziggy's journey, and it's unexpected paths she goes through, and I think she was just really curious about the forest, so she decided to go in there, and she ends up getting lost, and she can't see without her star, so she can't go back, and she can't like stay, so she has like no choice but to go forward and find her star. And so it's just her journey, I guess, the forest would be.
So I'm just wondering, when you say forest and when she walks into this dark, unknown places, are you referring to the, someone's life journey, or of our life journey? When we walk, we often walk into things that are unknown to us.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So after Ziggy enters the forest, there is a turn in the story. And I'd like you to read that section for us.
Ziggy saw a tall tree swaying back and forth in the dark during the night. She walked over to the tree and saw a strange-looking creature in a cave wearing a mask. Ziggy could not tell what the creature behind the mask was, as she held her shining star so tightly. Since the masked creature lived underground in the dark, it had never seen light until that night.
Okay, so this is a very interesting character because it is masked and it doesn't have a name. It's called a masked creature.
Yep.
So what does this masked creature represent?
I guess evilness, not pure evil, but just has more evil and is selfish and is sort of out there to harm others and doesn't care about other people's feelings. And yeah.
And so again, with the masked creature, it reminded me of a character in Harry Potter. And I don't know if our young friends here watch the movie Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a wizard, but he is a child. He grew up and but he didn't know he was a wizard, and he was sent to the school to study magic. And in the school, there was someone that everybody's afraid of. That character is not in the school, but it's somebody that they are afraid of. And they call that character he who must not be named. So that's actually sound even more scary when you can't even you can't even say that person's name because this person is so scary. And if you say the name, that person may appear. So the masked creature reminded me of this, character in Harry Potter. And it was a very, very scary character. So, and I'm just wondering, when you create this character, that does it represent things that are more hidden and dark and
Yeah,
things
mean,
that
it's sort of, I think it's sort of like the mask represents something you see on the outside might be different than what it truly is in the inside. Yeah.
So why did the masked creature interested in Ziggy's star?
So, well, Ziggy's star represents like really great qualities like love and empathy. And I think the masked creature just wanted to experience those qualities. So that's why it decided to take the star.
Curious, maybe?
Yeah, it wanted to experience those qualities. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if some of our young audience may have experience in a when you're in a dark room and suddenly you see a light. You're attracted to that light, and so you would want to go there. And probably this masked creature is, have the same kind of curiosity and interest in exploring light. Does the masked creature, I know the masked creature took the light, but does he want to destroy the light?
No, he doesn't want to destroy the light. It wants to have the light so it could have those qualities, but it doesn't keep the light because it doesn't fit the masked creature. It's Ziggy's star, it's her light, and it could only stay lit up because it's hers. And like an example, I guess, would be Cinderella's shoes. Like those shoes only fit her feet. When her stepsisters put it on, it didn't fit them. So I think it's similar to that with the masked creature.
Yeah, I agree. It's like when you have if you take somebody's whatever, someone's quality and you think, oh, this person is loving, so now I'm loving. You can't do that. you have to cultivate your own. And you can just say, okay, you know, if she has that, I'm gonna have it. That is only a very superficial way of saying, you know, I have something. And to be able to understand and to be able to incorporate those qualities, you've got to work on it. So it didn't fit the creature. Why did the masked creature abandon the star then?
It served no purpose for the creature. It felt like it didn't need it because it just wasn't working. It didn't work the same way.
So
Yeah.
it just kind of discarded and said, "Yeah, it's not for me."
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
And so I think that eventually Ziggy did find her star, and she was able to hold on to the star and make it bright again for herself.
Yeah.
How important it is for each of us to have a star. Do we have a star?
I think we all have a star, and I think it's really important to know that we have a lot of power and to nurture ourselves.
Where can I find my star?
It's within you, and it's your soul, it's your feelings, yourself. It's a spirit, self-discovery.
Self-discovery.
Mhm.
We have to search for it. But we know that it's there. We know we have magic. We know we have light.
Yeah.
We know we have a star, but we have to search for it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Very, very nice. It's a wonderful story with many levels. You can read it in many, many different levels. And that's what makes a good story. And so now I'd like to talk a little bit about the process of your art making. And you have your cousin, who is the photographer.
Yep.
Yes, Ray Rentati?
Renati, yeah.
Renati,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
And hi,
Hello.
welcome. And so I just mentioned that that's your cousin.
Yes.
So how does it feel like working with your cousin on this wonderful project?
Oh, it was great because I don't think I'd seen her since she was a tiny baby.
This is true.
Was
You
it
know, yeah.
Yeah,
was
we
it
had
a
we had a
surprise?
family reunion, and then we started talking, and then I told Kelly that I did photography, and then she contacted me.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen I hadn't seen her since she was. I don't know if I'd ever. I knew your brother when he was a baby, but I don't think I'd ever met
I
you.
don't think you have. I don't even
No,
know
no.
your mother.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Because
Yeah.
we're like second cousins once removed or something, right?
It's so yeah. It's like long lost family reunion.
Yeah.
That's great. You didn't know all these talents that it's in your family.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like when I was little, like our family spent lots of time together, and then that stopped, and then we had this family reunion, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you when you saw Kelly's artwork? How did you feel? How did you think of her?
Oh, well, I thought it was great. I mean, my initial response was, "Oh my gosh, we don't have the right spot to take these pictures. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them. I love them. They're really interesting, and now I got to figure out how to do this." Yeah, so we basically I just had to find I just found a spot like on her floor and made sure I had lighting that would get all of the colors in, and I knew I was going to have a lot of work to do after that. Then I came home and put them on the computer, and Kelly and I worked together for a number of weeks just to make sure they were all perfect.
Uh-huh.
I had to come and get
Yeah.
one of them. I had to go over to the house and get one so I could match the colors perfectly on my screen. So it's really hard to get a camera to exactly mimic the color you see with your eye unless you match it physically.
I see.
Yeah. And there was a lot of stuff like those beautiful frames that she has there. I had to go. The problem with the frame was is there's a shadow underneath each frame, and so I had to physically to go in and get rid of that. Sometimes pixel by pixel.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it turned out great. I think it looks great in the book.
It looks lovely.
Yeah.
It's everybody who has the book love the pictures.
Good.
So
Good.
when you did it, you said you had to do it on the floor, and then you have to shine like having the sun, the midday
No,
sun.
no, I used my a lighting system, just a flash with an umbrella. And I shot in RAW. I don't know if you know what that means, but you get all the data, and as long as I was within the color spectrum and didn't blow the frame out with too much light or not enough, I knew I had everything I needed there. It was just a matter of going back on the computer and getting it all right, straightening it, getting the colors right, getting rid of the shadows, cleaning up I also some of the paintings just had some little specks in there from being exposed to just the world. I had to go and clean some of that up so that it would look better on the page. Make some of the blacks more black, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kelley was really good. She made sure that
I was a pain. I was quite yeah, thanks for dealing with me.
No. Hey, it's your book, and you don't want to publish a book with bad illustrations.
That's right.
No,
that's
she was
right.
great. No, I'm glad she was like that. I mean, it always takes a couple of people, I think, to make things look perfect.
Yes.
It's hard to do things by yourself like that.
Exactly.
I know I saw on your website you've done like directing and things like that. It's hard to do it all alone.
Right. You can't do it by yourself. You need
No.
to have people, and you need to have people who believe in you.
Yeah, because you're not going to see everything that other people see, and you're going to see things that they don't see, and you have to work it out.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ray, for being here with us.
You're welcome.
So,
I love your photos.
Thanks.
yeah. So Kelley, shall we take a look at your etchings?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is that's an etching, and that's Cowman and Ziggy, black and white. And that's another one of just Cowman in the forest.
And I think there's one more.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna talk about the printmaking process, and that's another etching, Cowman and Cowwoman. It's for fun. It's called Hilltops, and we can go to talk about the process. And okay, so that's the liquid hard ground, and I put the liquid hard ground on top of a plate. That's a copper plate. And what that does is it basically seals the plate so nothing will etch it. And I have like an example here that there's hard ground, if you can see. Okay, and then go to the next slide. And that's the needle. So anything with the needle is going to get etched, and that's going to become black. So that's going to basically become a drawing. And I have a needle here. You can't really see, but there is like needle marks here. It's just hard to see. And here, I put it in the acid bath, and that will basically engrave the plate, and it'll like make like engrave like lines inside, so you can put ink in it and make it etching, which I'll keep showing you. But after it's etched, you want to just clean it with mineral spirits. That's paint thinner. Yeah. And then I put ink on the plate. And then, okay, now after I ink it, I wipe it and I get ready to put it on an etching, a printing press. And I can etch multiple images over and over. Yeah, so I just wheel it through the press and I get an etching, I get an image, and I can make a certain amount of etchings.
And then you have to dry it on a rack. You
Yeah,
have
I
to
dry it after.
How long does it take to dry the etchings?
It's about 24, 48 hours.
So you can make many, many prints out of one etching. And how long does it take to make an etching like this?
They're all different. Some of them take me about 1 month, some of them 3-5 months. So they're all different. It depends on how much detail and how much luck, I guess, I have. With it. Yeah.
What are you currently working on now that you have this book out?
And now I'm writing, it's almost done. It's another children's book with Ziggy's in it and Cowman and a new creature named Zany. And it's called, yeah, so that's Ziggy and that's Zany. And the book is called Ziggy Shines the Brightest Star.
Oh. Well, in here, Ziggy looks a little different. She's got wings.
She does, yeah.
So Ziggy evolves. She doesn't really stay like.
Oh yeah, they're always evolving. Like sometimes Ziggy's tall, sometimes she's tiny. Like in this book, she was small.
What about these little flying things behind behind Zany?
Oh, and those I call them cow angels, and you find them a lot in my artwork too. And I have them right behind me. I think they're like our angels.
I see.
Yeah.
Very cute. Very nice. And also Zany, I don't know, it looks like so many different, it's a composite of animals. It looks like a cow, it looks like a unicorn. It has a lot of wool. It seems like it has a very furry, but then it has tiny legs. So
Yeah.
when you create Zany, it just comes to you. You don't have a.
It just came to me. I think that I made him after, like, now that I think about it, when I made him, I think I made it after my guinea pig that passed away, Hank.
Oh, okay.
And, he was a bald guinea pig. He actually didn't have hair, but anyway, I think they're similar. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so for those who have not bought your book yet, where can they find your book?
You can find it at Book Baby. It's on Amazon, and you can always contact me directly. That's my email, and I'd be happy to sign a copy and send it to you as well.
Okay, so if you buy directly from Kelley, you can get her autograph. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is to send a request through email, kelley@kelleymichelucci.com. Good, very good. Thank you so much. Now, let's open up to our audience for questions. And so what we've got some questions here because some of you have sent in your questions. So let's go through those first. And then if there's time, anybody can ask question. We'll open up to the rest of the audience. So everybody's muted at this point. What I'd like to do is if I call your name and if you'd like to ask the question, unmute yourself and you ask Kelley the question. Okay? So the first one is from Travis. Travis has 2 questions. Travis, can you unmute yourself? Or Travis' mom or dad?
How old is Ziggy?
Maybe she might be a teenager. Yeah. That's a good question.
I guess it can be as old as you want her to
Yeah.
be, or as young as you
Any
want.
age. I think she could relate to any age, though. If you're a kid or grown up, any age. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
You want her to
Good.
be.
Thank you, Travis. And now we have Gus Mitchell. And Gus, you have a question, and then Gus' sister Ray also has a question. So Gus, you want to ask the question?
Yeah. What was under the mask of the creature?
Yeah, I think the masked creature was wearing a mask just because it was in disguise. So, like the Wizard of Oz, for example, if you've seen that movie, the wizard looks very scary, but then there's a curtain. And when Dorothy takes the curtain off, she sees that he's actually just not that scary.
And Ray, you want to ask your question?
What's your question, Ray? Who will outside or inside?
Does Ziggy live outside in the forest or inside a house?
Oh, so Ziggy lives in a house, but she is constantly living in different environments, going on different adventures.
And we also have Jackson and Jessica Cortens. Jackson and Jessica. Are you here?
They left, no.
They're not?
No.
Oh, okay. So let's go to,
But you can answer her questions, maybe their questions.
okay.
You can ask their
Okay,
questions.
so Jackson and Jessica asked, what does the monster want to steal from Ziggy's life? And why is the monster mad?
So the monster wants to steal the light because the light has all the qualities such as kindness and empathy that the creature wants to experience. So, and it gets mad when he is able to get the star. It doesn't work the same way, and it still doesn't light up, and is still not able to experience those qualities. So,
Yeah, when you think that you've got something, in fact you don't.
yeah.
It's kind of frustrated. Okay, so then there are 2 questions. Let me see. Yes, Michelle.
Did you hear?
Michelle Ling's children, are you here? You guys here?
Hi, we're here. They're just a little shy.
Okay, so you want to ask the question?
Sure. They were curious if the name Ziggy had any special significance.
So I just really wanted something fun, and I thought the letter Z was different and the name was so different. And I did this piece, Ziggy and Zany Fly Over the World. You can, oh, I don't know if you can see it.
No, we only see Ziggy.
Oh, okay, well,
yeah, I see it.
I named a etching that I did a while back, and then I ended up keeping their names, and I just went with it, and I dived deeper into those characters.
And then there's one question that was asked: how long did it take you to write and illustrate this book?
The whole process of publishing it took almost a year, just with like editing and going back and forth with the editing and just layouts and stuff, designing. But when it comes to like writing it and the actual art, it took me like, let's say like 2 months. That, yeah. It's all the other stuff that's hard to do.
So what about Zion? Zion is here. Is Zion here?
Hi, he's outside right now.
Oh, okay. So you can ask the
But
question.
he doesn't really have a question. So he doesn't really have a question. We just love Ziggy. We read it all the time. He thinks that Cowman's a goat, and he always has to tell me that Cowman's a goat. But personally, like for me as a mom, I just think this book is so inspiring because I'm an acupuncturist, and it was really challenging for me to become a doctor of Chinese medicine, being that I'm not even Chinese. And so I just think it's so relatable because there is also this concept of qi to me and my perspective. And we have to like constantly cultivate qi, like the life force within you. And so it's just so awesome to me because I always go back to Ziggy, like, because I have monsters in my life that think that I should, change my career path and whatnot. But it's just spiritual self-realization and how I can better cultivate my life force and through diet and my mind and my shen. So I just love and appreciate Kelley writing this book because it gives me the strength, and like relationship to the forest is really cool because the zheng qi is like super important to just go back to homeostasis. So like having that fresh oxygen and getting that different mindset. So I just think this book is amazing. And thank you, Kelley. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
Okay, so all the questions that I have, from the children, I've read all of them. And so at this time, I'd like to open up to the rest of the audience. So anybody who has any comments or questions, comments, good. Mary, go ahead.
I have a question for Kelley and a question for Ray. So Kelley, so you showed the etching process.
Yeah.
Did you then, after you did the etchings, did you use the etchings then to make the pictures by adding color? Or was that separate?
Oh, those are separate.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So there's pictures that are just the paintings, and then there's pages that are just the etchings.
Uh-huh. And the pictures are what, acrylic?
The paintings are acrylic, yeah.
Acrylic, okay.
Yeah.
And then I just have one more question. So when I was reading the book with my great niece, there was a little bit of confusion about, so the masked creature stole her light, and then she meets the cowman, and then she finds her light. It was like, then she was thinking, well, are there two lights? So did the creature steal one and then she had to go find another?
Oh, no, it was the same one.
Oh, so it was the same.
She found it when it was dull after the creature stole it, and because like it wasn't able to light it up and it was dull, and then when she was like just like holding it a lot and stuff, then it was able to like get bright again. So it was her.
Yeah. And she wanted to know what happens to that creature. She was very interested in what happens to the creature.
Oh, yeah. We never know. Yeah.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have Cameron.
How did you get the idea for the book?
I was going through this moment in my life where I had a lot of energy to write something, and I was just sort of journaling, and it was just like cathartic, I guess. And I basically ended up thinking if there's anyone else that, you know, might need to find their light or just have some sort of empowerment, like if I could help them in any way, then yeah, that would make me happy. Yeah.
Hey, anybody else?
Izzy is not here today. That's my girlfriend Janet C's granddaughter. But she wanted me to share Izzy's comments that she really liked the story. Her favorite part is when the creature showed his evil eyes. And she liked the flame flying above its head.
Yeah.
So she wanted to share that with you, Kelley, and everyone else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
And anybody else?
Oh, Ray, I meant to ask Ray.
Yes.
So do you use Photoshop to edit the pictures?
I use a combination of Lightroom and Photoshop.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
So Lightroom is another Adobe product, and it lets me make like mask changes on a number of photos that are similar. And then I go into each individual photo and finish up on the detail.
Very good.
What's the name again? I'm sorry. Lightroom. Lightroom. Okay.
Yeah, it's a way for photographers to save time, like people who use Photoshop, so they can make changes on large numbers of photos that are similar without having to do them individually in Photoshop.
Very good. And I want to thank all the boys and girls for your questions and your comments, and the parents and the grandparents too. I don't want to leave you guys out. And for coming to Book Talk. Thank you for participating. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to turn this over to Cynthia.
I just want to announce that our next book talk will be on March 21st with Bay Area broadcast legend Wendy Takuda and her daughter, Wendy Takuda Hall. And of course, before we close, I'd like to thank Clara for moderating and Ruby Fong for preparing the slideshow and doing the tech today. I'm Cynthia Yee. Please remember to support Clarion by going to our website, clarionmusic.com, and make a tax-deductible donation. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our book talk, and really appreciate it. And we hope to see you very, very soon again.